Hello, friends. Once again, it is now 8:01 here in Toronto and 7 p.m. Central Time. So I just want to get right into our topic for tonight. Generally, we like to allocate about 30 minutes for our live sessions. So we hope that you can dedicate just only 30 minutes of your night to stay here with us to discuss more about grace based on the best selling book from Dr. Anhlan, Living in Grace, Living Your Best Life Now. So, to kick things off, I would like to invite Dr. Anhlan to read a quick excerpt from one of the chapter in her book.
Okay, so I assume that you already have the book. It's called Living in Grace, Living Your Best Life Now. It's now available in print format on Amazon around the world. Today we're going to talk a little bit about grace. So I'm going to read an excerpt on the chapter about what is grace. The thought of grace usually brings us a sense of peace, beauty, and blessing from God. According to Oxford English Dictionary, grace means elegance, poise, finesse, and charm. It also indicates the smooth and charming movement that an artist, dancer, or sport team demonstrates in physical action. So when we use the word grace, it means different beautiful thing to different people. To me, grace is the gift of our own heart, beating to keep us alive. Grace is the energy that keeps us going and living. Grace is the love from within our heart that already exists for us. Grace is the harmonious ebb and flow of the river of life that each of us travels. It gives us strength and hope when the water is rough, and joy and happiness when the water is calm. And grace is indeed the beauty of life for humanity. And being a human being is a tremendous gift of grace that each of us is given at birth. And we do have the choice to keep it and honor it throughout our life. In this book, grace is a powerful set of 5 values: gratitude, respect, accountability, courage, engagement. It was first created by the New Moon Foundation. Then I adopted these 5 values and combined them with the emotional intelligence competencies model and self leadership strategies so that we can write a practical framework so that once you practice regularly, you can live a life that is full of joy, happiness, meaning, and fulfillment. By developing the lens of grace and making choices using the grace mindset, you will start experiencing transformation in your life. You will become more resourceful, you will become happier, calmer, and you will always bring the light of joy, happiness, and gratitude to everything and everyone whom you have contact with.
Aw, thank you. Uh, that is a beautiful excerpt in terms of just, you know, embodying that grace, right? So, can you share a little bit more? I know as I was reading your book as well, you talked a lot about living through this lens of grace,
Mhm.
right? And for those that perhaps haven't even read that far or haven't even read your book yet, perhaps you can maybe explain a little bit further of what is that lens of grace.
Okay, so before I explain to you, let's do a little exercise. This exercise hopefully very easy. Now, if you are listening to us right now, you can do it at your own home or from wherever room or place or surrounding that you are in. Just a little exercise, okay? So I'm asking you to look around. I assume you look around your room and let's finding anything that looks like red. Okay, so we will find it can be anything around your surrounding. It can be a pen, it can be a book, It can be anything that is red. And I give you 10 seconds. I'll count now. And then after 10 seconds, you close your eyes, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, close your eyes. After you close your eyes, try to remember anything that is in blue. Can you see it?
Can I open my eyes now?
Yes, now you can open.
No, because I was really looking for something red.
Right. So do you remember seeing anything that is blue when you try to remember and you close your eyes?
I don't know, very vaguely. Yes.
Right, because you only
Searching for red.
pay attention to the red, right? Because I asked you to allocate the red, anything in the red color. So that is the way that our brain, so basically your brain, before you close your eyes, you were instructed just focus on the red. And because of the lens of the, you're looking at that moment is just the red color, you forget about anything else. So when you close your eyes and I asked you about the blue, you say, oh, I'm not sure, unless you really pay attention to everything around you and you train yourself to really pay attention to everything, then it might be different. But most of the time, that's how we perceive things. And our brain is amazing organization, right? Within here in our head, but it's limited. And do you know every second we receive a lot of bits of information from your own body. Remember, your own body is not just a body. It has 100 trillion cells. And all of these cells communicate back to the brain. Like if you feel hot, you feel cold, all kinds of things, sound, you hear the sound, it all come back to, so every second, how many bits of information you think that the brain receives? You want to guess?
Millions and billions.
Millions. 11 million bits. Now,
Okay,
this is not Dr. Anhlan said. This is the neuroscientist said. So they analyze and they find out every second, 11 million bits of information go into our brain. But our brain is limited. It can only process, guess how many bits? Did you guess how many bits it can process?
Every second?
Yeah, out of those 11 million. How many?
A few thousand.
A few thousand?
But
we're not superhuman, okay? We are only regular human. So basically every second, our brain can only process 40 to 50 bits. Only 40 to 50 bits. So that 40 and 50 bits out of 11 million bits, that's the difference between what we recognize and we pay attention to and what happened around us. So basically, even subconsciously, like we don't pay attention, but actually that's the way we perceive things, right? We already have a lens because every second of the day, every second, you only can process 40 to 50 bits. So just like the exercise I asked you, when I asked you to look for the red, guess what? Your 40, 50 bits is only on the red and then you don't see anything else because that's the way that we wire. So if you are a person who look for opportunity to be offended, guess what? You will find it. You go out, you get in the jam, and you're so frustrated. Oh my goodness, this guy cut in front of me. Oh my goodness, that guy, he looks so ugly. Oh my goodness, all of the pictures around you. If you look for things that to make you frustrated, you will. So the keys is the lens. When I'm talking about the lens, is that limitation of our brain. If we know that we only have 40, 50 bits every second to really perceive the world around us. And guess what? The perception that we have about the things around us, it makes up our emotion. Just like if you look into the surrounding and you look for good things like, oh my goodness, look at the sky, look at the flowers, then it will lead to the positive emotion, right? But if your lens only focus on the bad things, on the things that could go wrong, on, guess what? You will full of anxiety, worries, and negative emotions. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to what kind of lens that we use on a regular basis to look at things around us. I'll give you an example. When I was in the accident, okay, and it was a very stressful time for me. And I really remember it's around November timeframe like this. So I have like tons of things. I work full time. I serve on 3 different nonprofits. I was just elected board chair of a really like a national foundation that report directly to the president of the United States. So it's a lot of pressure. And so a lot of worry. And then at that time also I had to finish some dissertation for my PhD program. So everything is just like you have like tons of things you focus on. And on that night, just 2 days before I have a trip to DC, we got into a car accident. So the car accident is totally, it's a totally disaster because, I was totally incapacitated. So I was brought into the hospital on an ambulance. But at that given time, you can say, oh God, everything I planned was screwed up now. All the plan that I have put so much work into it is all collapsed right now. I'm just dead. That is one choice. But because I practice grace, I didn't choose that choice. I choose that, oh my goodness, thank you, God, I'm still alive. I don't know how I survived because that accident is a T-bone. My car was total, but I was alive. Thank you. Thank you, God. And my heart is full of love and appreciation that I forgot about the stress. I forgot about everything. And what really mattered that moment, and I was in excruciating pain because, I got some really damage inside the ridge, because of the airbag, like full airbag go into my chest. And I was so painful, but I focused on one thing. I was still alive. And that really helped me going through the following days, which is really painful. So practicing grace, just like one example like that, you change the lens. Instead looking at the lens at, oh my goodness, everything is screwed up, everything is upside down. All the things I expected is now totally out of the door. Then you got frustrated. Then you ask the question, okay, what's good in this? What is good? What is good in this situation? And because I train my mind to look for the good, right? That is the practicing grace. You train your mind. You have to practice this every day. So automatically I ask myself, what is good about this? And then initially I said, nothing good. How can you good? Like all of a sudden, a guy passing the red light and hit us. And then we call this that good luck. But then I said, but we could have died, right? My husband and I could be gone already. But I'm not gone. I'm still here. So that is a blessing. Whatever it is happening, I will find out the meaning later. But right now, I focus on appreciation. And that, it gave me so much more energy. It calmed me down. And even I was so painful, it still calmed me down. And it's amazing that I go and I want to share another story right at that moment. The guy who hit us, he passing the red light. He's only 21 years old. Later on, we find out he's a young man. And he didn't have the driver license renewed. That kind of kid that very restless, right? So he didn't even wear the seatbelt. So his car would turn over. So he got bleeding very terrible. So my husband was taken by an ambulance and I was taken on a different ambulance. And I just happened to be in the same ambulance with that guy. Now, if it was me before grace, I would yell at him, what the heck? How come you did pass the red line and cause all of this trouble, all of that. But at that moment, I did not have any emotion that way. First, I practiced gratitude. So I thank God that I'm still alive. And then look at him. Now he couldn't, he had blood all over. He was really badly hurt, right? and the way he looked at me, I know that he's sorry, but he couldn't say, right? And I still remember, I was so painful at the time. So I was praying, but when I looked at him, because I practice engagement, I practice respect, I practice gratitude. I actually pray for him. I pray for me and I pray for him. So I could feel the compassion at that moment. My heart was totally full of appreciation, love. And because of that, I don't know how, but it just like magically, I no longer hate him. I didn't, yell at him. No, no, I couldn't yell anyway, even if I wanted to yell, because at the time I was so weak. But I remember I prayed for him. I pray God for me, for my husband, and I pray for him. And I was amazed of my own reaction. When I reflect later on, I ask myself, why did I do that? Then I realized the magic of grace because I practice it so often. It becomes a natural habit. So when things happen, I automatically just go like that. And then I realized, oh my goodness, that is when you embody grace. And that is when the energy of love from your heart, it just exuded and it resolved all the issue. Now imagine if you have a conflict with your loved ones. It all because you not practicing embodying grace. When you truly use that kind of energy, it change your life for the
Mm-hmm.
better. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes, I've heard you shared slightly about your accident, but not in the later part where, you're sitting in the ambulance with the individual that actually hit you. And wow, yes. And, right there you mentioned, Dr. Lat, is that you had to practice grace way before that.
Yeah.
And then when a life changing experience happens to you and you look back, you realize it could have gone many ways, right? But
Yeah.
it went in a positive way because you embody grace and it now becomes an
It just,
automatic
yeah, it's just
reaction,
natural.
right?
It's just
Yeah.
natural.
But and then because of that, it allows you to come out of such, a tragic, incident, um, basically seeing the better side of anything that can happen to you. And that's amazing. Thank you so much for continuing this conversation about what is grace and how to apply grace. Now, before I let you go, Dr. Anhlan, I just want to let everyone know that myself, Dr. Anhlan, and a group of people have created a Facebook group called Live Your Best Life Now. Well, it started out as a Facebook group for us to connect during social distancing, right? But just basically to inspire each other to kind of elevate our life, right?
Yeah.
And right now we change it to living your best life because we do believe that we all, like Dr. Lam mentioned, we only have one life to live. So we might as well make it our best life now, not later, not when I get this, when I achieve that, when I get there, because we only have now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I encourage everyone to join us on our Facebook group as in the future we will be doing a lot more sharing. And I know Dr. Nang is working on some courses as well, just to really do a deep dive, but to also, I guess, guide everyone and hold everyone's hands as we practice. Because like everything, it's a habit and it takes practice and we
Yeah.
just got to continue on with that practice. And it is nice when we are able to practice together,
Mm-hmm.
to share that energy together, to inspire and empower each other. It's definitely easier than going at it alone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I encourage everyone to join us in that Facebook group, and you can see the link to that. We will share as well to soon the link. If you haven't seen yet, if you go on Anhlan the Coach or Lyceum Facebook page, or you just type in Facebook, living your best life now, you should be able to find the group. And now, before we go, I don't know if Dr. Nam, you want to have any words before we said bye to everybody.
I just want to say thank you for joining us for today, for those who are tuning. And I look forward to talk to you again next week. Every Tuesday night, we will go live together and we will have a conversation about some part of the book. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mai.